The general concept of this project is based on sky burial as a subculture to explore how invisible beliefs and ideologies are adopted and transformed into visual and material culture. Through experiment, iconic personas and heterotopic spaces, we can begin to design a world where alternative rules, objects and potentials exist. Imagining and restructure another world or a world hasn't emerged yet. It's about an all-encompassing vision. By examining trends, making predictions and even considering the consequences of our predictions, we construct a realistic and unrealistic world, or a hyper-real world. Think about plurality and provide indicative speculation when we find the obscure edges of society and culture, then translate them into everyday life. Just like Dunn and Raby mentioned in their article Design for the Unreal World, it's a thing that can be constructed, deconstructed and reconstructed. In Buddhism culture, the body is a mere vessel for the soul. The vulture symbolizes angels who take the soul into heaven to await reincarnation and the next life. As the designer, I keep asking myself, what would be different if we transformed this subculture into a main culture? Eventually, I think sky burial would be a special junction between the dead and the alive, a ritual to separate or blend spirit and substance. This project presents a speculative future that sky burial as the mainstream culture already exists in the society of 2072. Then using a future archaeological perspective to speculate on a world from different aspects. Not only does the narrative of how it is embodied in the main culture, but also how this culture modifies people's behavior and belief, such as we set the standard of the body for sky burial. The fictional object, building, and burial system we created, not just uncovers things, but also values, ideals and dreams from new realities. At the beginning of this project, we made a documentary using the diary of a 7-year-old girl to depict the process of her mother's burial and the social reality of that culture from a first-person perspective, and to conceive a rational and symbolic concrete prop through a range of raw materials. Such as we began to design the infrastructure of bone removal, the UN romanticized reality of dealing with bodies, and the location and instrument of the architecture used for sky burial and so on. When revisiting this project, I focused on creating an event let participants explore the space between spiritual and material. This workshop is instrumental to explore death culture through material nature, as we belong to an incredible ecosystem. In a culture where sky burial practices have become more widely recognized, death no longer marks the end of life but the beginning of the next reincarnation. The decomposition of our bodies in nature implies that we are also part of the essence of our environment. As people become more aware of their spirituality, they deviate from their obsessions with the physical body and thus look for ways to enrich their souls. Such a concept has inspired the creation of my work and set the context of my workshop. The process of making bread offered the participants a tool that explores and perceives the materiality of the body through creation, growth and decomposition, which is why bread has been used to replicate the human body as it mirrors the life cycle of a human body.